Now, today we are starting with Act 5, the final act of Tempest. Very unusual act. We have seen that this entire play to Shakespeare is the magical play. And here the center protagonist, that is Prospero, is willing to shun his power because he believed more in vengeance. He believed more in reconciliation. When he heard from Ariel, like the people from the royal kingdom, they are really realizing their mistakes. And even Ariel, who is considered to be the spiritual body, which is not having any sort of embodiment, he was also feeling pathetic for them. He was also feeling pitiable towards their condition, and he also told Prospero that he should really opt for the roads of vengeance if he thinks so. Further, we see that Prospero, who was wrapped in magician's cloak, he finally decides in order to give up, in order to shun all his magical powers. And not only this, he makes last check. Last check in the sense like everything has happened properly or not. At the sixth hour, he inquired of Ariel. Sixth hour in the sense like prior to this, 4 hours ago, he inquired of Ariel whether everything was happening at place or not. Till now, we do not get any idea as to what, like till that very moment. That's what we discussed, that he will be following the road to vengeance. But audience that time who were present in front of the stage, they were really not having any idea as to what sort of measures this Prospero shall be taking when the time had really come for which the play was written, when the time had really come for which the Tempest was actually created by Prospero. Perhaps it is described that in the words of Prospero, it was clearly described that he will definitely be following the roads to vengeance. What he said, though with their high wrongs I am stuck to the quick, yet with my nobler reason against my fury do I take part. Very famous line of Shakespeare, very important line to be quoted. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. So, what is the virtue of human being? Virtue of human being is forgiveness. Virtue of human being is forgiveness. And finally, Prospero decides to release his prisoners. Later on, we saw very important happenings that take place and various references related to metamorphosis, that is Ovid's play, are also discussed. Not only this, in the later part, Alonso demanded Prospero for the actual and real presence, like whether this is spiritually happening, all these happenings were supernatural or real. And finally, when everything was proven, that vengeance made everyone happy. And Prospero also gave up his powers, the magical powers, which he considered it to be his most strongest weapon. The play moves smoothly to its expected closure, and Prospero gets his dukedom back. And in the marriage of Mirinda and Ferdinand, Milan will be reunited to Naples. That we shall be continuing in Act 5. Now Prospero is fully in command here in this Act 5. And he is nowhere visible to any of the prisoner but the audience only. And Ariel describes the condition of the king. Ariel describes the condition of the courtiers. Prospero takes pity on them, and after a brief meditation of achievements of his magical powers, releases them from his spell. Now, the scene 1. Prospero in his magical robes. Why it is mentioned magical robes? Magical robes is mentioned in order to catch the audience attention towards his robe, because now he will be shunning his magical powers. Prospero. Now does my project gather to a head. Now does my project gather to a head in the sense now my project is implemented. It is about to be successful. Now my project is implemented. It is about to be successful. My charms crack not, my spirits obey. My charms really worked out. My charms really worked out. My spirits obeyed me, and time goes upright with his carriage, and time properly followed. Time properly followed its course. How is the day? How is the day? Now, what is happening in the days ahead? What is happening in the days ahead? So, now does my project gather to a head? Here, project can be considered to be the plan of Prospero also. Prospero says to Ariel, now my project gathered to a head. Now my project is gathered. Now my project is gathered. It has now come to a critical point. My charms crack not. My charms really do not break. My charms worked out properly. My spirits obey and time goes upright with his carriage. My spirits obeyed me. My spirits obeyed me and time worked out properly with its carriage. How is the day? Ariel, on the sixth hour, at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease. Now, Ariel tries to reaffirm Prospero, very important point from the next immediate speech. What he says, on the sixth hour at which time, my lord, you said our work should cease. What you said, at what time our work should cease? What you said, at what time our work should cease? At the sixth hour, in the sense sixth in the evening. I did say so when I first raised the tempest. Say, my spirit, how fair the king and the followers. Underline this line from the point of view of character sketch of Prospero. Prospero says, I did say so. Yes, I asked so. Yes, I asked so when I first raised the tempest. Tell me, my spirit, how fares the king and followers? How is the king and his followers? How is the king and his followers? If first the speech of Prospero comes, then the immediate question is, what was the immediate query of Ariel? That he inquired of the time from Prospero as to at what time their project should stop. Then Prospero further inquired of Ariel. This was the mode of interrogation that had happened between both of them. Prospero further inquired of Ariel whether the condition of king and his followers is better or not. Ariel, confined together. They all are in the confinement. They are all in the imprisonment. They are all in the confinement. They are all in the imprisonment in the same fashion as you gave in charge, in the same manner as you have told me to do so. In the same manner as you have told me to do so, just as you left them, all the prisoners, sir, in the lion grove, which weather fence yourself, just as you left them. And they are in the same condition as you left them, all the prisoners, sir, in the lion grove, which weather fence yourself. All the prisoners, they are present amidst the grooves, the greenery. They are present amidst the grooves, amidst the greenery, which is encircling your cell. Which is encircling your cell. They cannot budge till your release. They cannot run away till you release them. They cannot run away till you release them. The king, his brother, yours, abide all three distracted, and the remainder mourning over them. The king, his brother, and your brother. Yours is who is yours over here? Your brother, that is Antonio. Abide all three distracted. They all three are in the distracted state. They all three are in the distracted state, and the remaining mourning over them, and the leftover people, they are considering as if They all three are dead. They are considering as if they all three are dead. Brimful of sorrow and dismay, they are all sad and gloomy in the state of distress. They are all sad and gloomy in a state of distress. But chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like the winter's drops from the eaves of reeds. Your charm so strongly works on them that if you now beheld them, your affections would become tender. Especially him. Why him is capitalized? Alonso. Especially him. Why him is capitalized? Here Alonso is discussed. That you term, sir, the good old Gonzalo, his tears runs down his beard like winter's drop. And the other, good old Lord Gonzalo, his tears, they are running out of his eyes, down his beard like the winter drops from the eaves of reeds, like a winter drops from the thatched roof. Like the winter drop from the thatched roof, in the sense those tears are unstoppable. Your charm so strongly works upon them. Your charm so strongly works upon them that if now you beheld them, your affections would become tender. That if you have a glance at both of them, if you will have a glance at both of them, your affections would become tender. Definitely, you will start feeling softer for both of them. You will start feeling softer for both of them. Prospero, does you think so, Spirit? Do you think so, Spirit, that their condition is so pitiable that even I, who am the sufferer, will start showing pity towards them? Ariel, repeating the speech, confined together. They are in confinement. Confined together, they are in confinement in the same fashion as you gave the charge, in the same manner as you have told them. In the same manner as you have told them, just as you left them all prisoners, sir, just as you left them all the prisoner in the lion groove, they are amidst the greenery which encircles your cell. They are amidst the greenery which encircles your cell. They cannot budge till you release. They cannot run away. They cannot escape till you release them. The king, his brothers, and yours abide all three distracted. The king, his brother, and yours, that is Antonio, abide all three distracted. They all three are in the distracted state, and the remainder mourning over them, and the remainder, the leftover, they are mourning over them. They are really feeling sad, brimful of sorrow. They are filled with distress, they are filled with sorrow, but chiefly him that you termed, sir, the good old Lord Gonzalo. His tears run down his beard like winter drops. His tears, they are running down his beard like the winter's drop, like the drops of winter from the thatched roof. Your charm so strongly works upon them that if you now beheld them, your charm so strongly worked upon it that if you have a glance at them, if you have a glance at them, you will yourself become tender and soft. Prospero inquired of him, does you think so, Spirit? Do you think so, Spirit? Ariel, mine would, sir, were I human. So what he says, that I am not in the embodiment of human mortality. I am the supernatural spirit. Had I been human, I would have definitely felt sympathy towards them. Had I been human, I would have definitely felt sympathy towards them. And mine shall, Prospero says, and mine shall also feel the same. As you which art but a air a touch, a feeling of afflictions, shall not myself one of their kind, that relish all as sharply passion as they be kindlier moved than you are. Though with their high wrongs I am stuck to the quick. Very important line. Though with their high wrong I am stuck to the quick. Hast thou which are but a but ere a touch of feeling of their afflictions. He says, have you? In the same manner, I also do have the same feelings. I also do have the same feelings. I'm same sensitive as you are. I'm same sensitive as you are. A feeling of afflictions, I have really a feeling of their pain. I really do understand the feeling of their pain and shall not myself one of their kind. I shall not be making myself one of their kind. I'm different to them. I really do have the sympathy for them. And that relish all as sharply passion as they be kindlier moved than you are. That relish. So this passion within me, this passion of sensitivity within me, as they be kindlier moved than you are. I am also moved with the pain in the same manner as you are. I am also moved with the pain as you are, as per the generosity of human nature. As per the generosity of human nature. Hast thou which but e'er a touch of feeling of their affliction? As you have the touch of feeling, as you have the touch of pity, as you have the touch of emotions, of human feelings, in the same manner, I do also have the same. I do also relish the same generosity of human as you are having, not similar to them.